Football Edge is a sports coaching and tracking mobile app with timer and streak functionality, as well as over 60 training videos taught by certified coaches. Developer Adam built and launched the first version of his mobile app in a matter of weeks, from concept to first deployment, all through Bubble.
Honestly, I think it was a great first experience with the mobile editor, and even I'm surprised with how much you guys fit into the beta, to be honest.
Bubble for native mobile is still in beta, but many developers like Adam are already publishing mobile apps that you can download from the app stores on your phone right now. In this series, we tour real Bubble apps with the developers who built them. Let's take a closer look at Football Edge with Adam. So Adam, as I was saying before we started recording, really excited to meet you and really excited to talk to you about this app. Why don't you go ahead and start us off by maybe introducing yourself and telling us how you found Bubble?
Yeah, mate, 100%. So appreciate it. My name's Adam. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I'm 23 years old and I've been bubbling for close to 5 years now. My initial kind of interaction with Bubble was a Google search to try and build my own personal finance application. That was my first time interacting with tech ever, so I made a lot of mistakes there, but I did learn some basic kind of tech skills, and then I turned to Upwork. Over about 4 years, I've done over 50 projects through Upwork. I'm in their expert vetted program, and then transitioned to develop a global low-code agency called APG Software in December of 2023. We've got about a team of 8 now, and we've done over 250 tech projects. So it's been a great journey. Pretty much all of the apps that I've built are based on Bubble, and then the fun thing about that is you end up interacting with all sorts of third-party tools, payment processes, accounting softwares, AI integrations. Like the possibilities are endless. So that's been the journey, and it's Bubble's been such an eye-opener for getting into tech and understanding how tech works. Yeah, that it's been incredible.
Absolutely. I'd love to know, we're here to talk about a mobile app that you recently built. Can you tell us more? What is your app and why did you build it?
The app's called Football Edge. It's built in conjunction with actually a guy that I went to high school with that I'm really good friends with. He played for the Australian under-20s in football, so he's been coaching for it'd be close to 10 years now. And he does a lot of coaching here in Sydney. So he's got hundreds of, he particularly works with grassroots, so like younger children between the ages of probably 6 and 18, but he does a bit of everything. He spends hours every single day coaching. And the idea was, how can we, take this to an audience that's outside Sydney? He's spending hours every day coaching anyway. Can we film some of this material, some of these skills trainings, and wrap it in an app that basically allows people to develop their skills on their own time, through exercises, through learning modules, through goals in the app, to essentially try and really facilitate the development of like grassroots football and give people the tools to develop their own football skills on their own time.
If you're in a place to share your screen, would love to start taking a look through it.
Cool. So what I can do first is I can run you through the application, and I've actually downloaded Test Flight on my laptop, so we can go through it as if I was on a mobile device. And then what I can do is take you through the editor and show you a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes here.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
So this is the initial landing page of the app. Now we basically take users through like what we call an onboarding on sign up. So we store some information. And this is like, this screen's probably I'm the most proud of this screen out of all the screens in the app, because the way we built this is like, to me, it looks super cool, especially someone that I love football myself. This really like visualizes exactly what position you might play on a field.
Yeah, this is wild. One of my questions was literally going to be, what feature are you most proud of building? So I'm very curious to, whenever we get to the editor, to see how you did this. This is awesome.
100%. And I'm not going to take full credit for this as well. So one of our designers, his name's Jeffter, he's ex-Figma, so he's definitely more, he really helped build this. And when he came out with this, I was like, wow, this is so cool. But yeah, you can select 2 positions that you typically play here. Click next. These are some basic questions there. Preferred foot. Now your training goal. Now these are some like professional football players. I'm just going to select this one here, but there's a number of football players you could select from. Now this is working with the camera. I'm just going to put demo. And then you sign up. So I'm just going to go accept that and hit next. and you land into, this is the home page for the app. So we have a couple things going on this homepage. One is the streak up the top here. Like with practicing any skill, consistency is key. So we want to make sure that people can kind of see how many days a week they're checking in and whether or not it's a bit of an accountability feature, but also something to be proud of, similar to the way apps like Duolingo work, where it's really about maintaining a streak and being able to log in as much as possible. Now, these are your daily training exercises and these are your goals. So and these are the total minutes that you've trained across each of those exercises. Now, the categories are the four main categories. We broke football skills down into four main categories: ball mastery, dribbling, passing, first touch, and shooting. And within each of these are some modules that are going to be ever growing and different skill levels. Now, if I do toe taps, for example, we'll load a video. Now, loading videos is something that we had to do a bit of a workaround because currently in the mobile editor, there's no video module. And the way we set this up basically is we used a web view element and then we used a HTML element on a page. And I'll show how that works in a little bit later. But there was a little bit of a workaround to get these videos to work. But essentially, you load into the exercise, you view a quick video with audio on exactly how it works. And then once you feel like you've read the instructions and you're comfortable with how to do it, you come down to start exercise and you basically record yourself doing the exercise. Now, these exercises typically take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how you go. And so once you put your phone down, get your equipment out, perform the exercise, come back, hit pause. Once you've completed it, and you complete the exercise. Now, once you complete the exercise, you have an option to take a photo of your setup. So we built a little community feed section here, and we want people to be able to share posts of their setups, share goals, share milestones on a feed that everyone can view. So you can do that. You can change this image and you can share that, and that goes to the feed. Now, I'll just click out of here now that that's done. And I'll show you through the feed section. So this is something that we've just built and we're trying to get it through the App Store now. And basically the whole point of this is similar to an app like Strava. So Strava is an app that tracks your running, but it's got a really powerful community feature where teams, run clubs will sign up and they'll track each other's runs and encourage each other through that community feature. And we wanted to do the same thing essentially for football applications. So can we build a community feature that's supportive, that maybe provides tips to other players, encourages other players to keep training, etc., etc. Then we have a really basic profile page, just essential settings. And we have the learning modules. So very similar to how the exercises worked, you can log into here, you can view some learning modules. These are like tactical, mentality, player-focused videos that go over some of the really popular players in the game and basically analyze exactly how they perform and things like that. So this is more for like the mental side of football and learning. Like we call it football IQ. And then you've got your categories for actually practicing. And that's essentially what we've built here. And what I've really liked about it is like we've used a lot of sheets. Like you've probably seen a lot of those new sheet elements that kind of slide up, and their basic native mobile features are really cool. So yeah, we've really enjoyed building this app, and I think it's been a really good experience.
Yeah, no, it looks like it. I mean, this is really impressive. I have a number of things that I want to ask about. The first one that I'll start with, was this built after or alongside a web app as well?
So we do have a web app. The idea is that it's very much mobile first though, because of the way like football training works is you're usually down at the park, you're in the backyard. It's not somewhere that you're really going to have access to a laptop. So it's kind of like a companion for you to take down to the park when you're doing some personal training time. You know, we may support some sort of web features later, but it's definitely mobile first.
Gotcha. So it being mobile first, when you started to try and realize this, what would you say came first? The design, the data structure, the logic, where you just wireframing it and then making sure the functionality worked? What was that process?
Definitely design first. So, well, the first thing we did, we call it a discovery phase. So we do this with all our clients, but we actually did a FigJam board. Then we went to design it, and then we went to build it in the mobile editor.
If you're able to share the editor, I'd love to pop around a little bit and ask some questions about some specific parts of the experience.
Cool. So let me know if you can see this.
Yep, I can see it.
Cool.
You mentioned design first. There are a couple of really interesting details in the preview that you shared that I wanted to talk about. The first one, I have to ask. I noticed that little soccer ball
bouncing around.
Bouncing around, that little like loading animation. How did you implement that?
So we usually get those GIFs from Lottie files. So we use the Lottie files animation there to basically display that bouncing football, just to let the user know that there is something happening, there's something loading, and that's why there's a little delay there.
That's so cool. Is there a way to see that in the editor, or like just see the architecture of it?
So it's right here. So as you can see, it's a web view element, and we pass the URL for the video to the web view element, and we also pass the user exercise. And the way we show the video at the current point in time, just because this is a bit of a workaround whilst the Bubble team waits to get the video element directly in here, is we actually store the loading value on the data type. So when they first load in here, the loading value is toggled to yes, and then on the web view page, the video loading page, we have a little workflow for once the HTML file is visible and the page is loaded entirely, we basically on the data type, we change the video loading field to no. So that's how we know the video is loaded, and we can hide the bouncing ball and we can show the video. And I can kind of show you. You can see the bouncing ball right here, and that condition's just up here. When the video loading is no, that means the video is loaded. We hide that and we show the video.
I see. So you're using the WebView element to view your own web page.
Exactly, to view the video, yeah. To load that video, we have to use the WebView element at the moment, but
Gotcha.
I'm sure that's going to change in the next month or so.
That's super creative, and it's a really valuable user experience. Like those little small details that you can fine tune, they really add up.
100%.
When you were starting to kind of get your feet wet with the mobile editor experience, there's a couple of new settings in the property editor. There's a couple of new visual elements. What was it like kind of getting your feet wet? And is there any example that you can show of where maybe there was like an aha moment where things for mobile specifically really started to click for you?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like anything when new tools come out on new features, the very first reaction is a little bit confused because you just see something new, you don't know what it is. Like I saw the sheet, I saw these groups here, and my initial thought was just like, well, what is this? Like I've never seen this before. But honestly, like that probably lasted 1 to 2 hours. Like once I jumped into the manual, took a little bit of like dragged them on the page, had a little bit of a look at how they work, that all disappeared really quickly. And it's surprising how similar it is to the web builder once you get your head around just a couple of new elements and a few new workflows and stuff like that. I think the real aha moment came with using the web view element properly. The web view element's a really good way to just address any possible limitations that might still be in the beta and any workarounds that we kind of needed with loading spinners, videos, stuff like that. So getting to understand exactly how that works was probably the main thing just to get my head around. The being able to like sheets was awesome. I love the fact that there's sheets in there and you can like slide up and slide down. It's so intuitive on mobile devices, and that's like a real benefit over using PWAs or something like that. And then the sliding on list items as well. So being able to slide and delete or slide and add things.
Is there an example somewhere in your app where you use that you're really proud of?
Yeah, I mean like the sheets everywhere. Like you'll see them. We use them for like logging out, posting things. I can show you, like even on the settings page. Like here's just a common sheet, but this doesn't need. It's really nice that you can have a little. It's basically like a pop up, but just so much easier and quicker to interact with. So they just quickly show a sheet. If they don't like it, they can swipe down or they can click no. It's just a really nice mobile feature. I think it's super user friendly, especially more so than using pop ups in mobile apps. We've used lists in other apps, but we didn't actually use the swipe list in this app. But we've used them in a couple other mobile apps that we've built to like. That's really cool for like for example, shopping carts or something where you're trying to add things to a cart and you're trying to add to a list or remove from a list. It's super user friendly and easy for that.
So that's interesting. You mentioned other mobile apps that you've built. Can you speak a little bit to other mobile apps that you've built on any platform and how this experience compares or contrasts with that?
Yeah, so we've built a couple apps now on the native beta, but we've also built a couple apps wrapping them with BDK as a PWA previous to this, and still a good experience, but you do miss out on the ease of building native features like the sheets and the list items.
Yeah.
And this genuinely does just feel cleaner. It's obviously like you can tell it's built for the native experience, whereas the PWA you can definitely make it seem very native, and we haven't had bad experience with that in general. But there you do just miss out on a couple of the nice to haves that you do get with this. And like especially from a user experience standpoint, being able to fully access some of these native features really easily, just natively in the editor, is definitely a big plus.
When you set out to build this Football Edge mobile first, how much time would you say it took to go from that first discovery phase you mentioned earlier to maybe completion is not the right word because I'm sure there's always updates and stuff, but like the first time that you felt like, okay, we have a completed product.
Yeah, so so the way we build MVPs is we try and keep it like as basic as possible just to solve the core problem and then stack features on from there. That's the way we typically build things. From memory, we probably did that. I think that just like the planning phase takes pretty much just as much as the build phase for a lot of these things because the planning is really important. I think we probably spent about 2 weeks, give or take, planning, and then probably another 2 weeks building the MVP. So it was pretty quick to build once we've got the design in place, once we've got the scope essentially, or we understand exactly what problem we're solving and how we're going to do it. The build was pretty quick. I'd say probably 2 weeks, and then we've added a couple features since then, but the basic MVP was around about 2 weeks. And honestly, you'll spend just as long waiting for Apple to review these apps and fixing it up to get it through Apple than you will actually building. For the CRM that we've built on Bubble's mobile beta, the web and mobile conjunction is such a time saver, and it's great that we can build like all of the complex tables, all the heavy data that I don't even really want to look at on my phone, to be honest, can live on that desktop app. And then we've got the mobile app that's like all the information that I need when I'm on the move to be able to respond to messages, add timesheets, etc., is all on the mobile device. And so, yeah, I think especially for certain types of apps, being able to have the mobile and the web built in one place, sharing a database, sharing backend workflows is pretty game changing and a massive time saver.
Awesome. I alluded to it earlier. One of my questions is, what feature are you most proud of? You showed, feel free to share more, but there was one at least that you mentioned in the preview that I would love to see what that looks like in the editor during the sign up flow.
Yeah, so that was this step here. And
yeah.
The way we actually built this, so full credit to Jefter, who's one of our especially front-end developers. He's a legend. But basically, the way he built this was he built the background and a lot of the elements in Figma, like the actual SVG files, and then layered things on top of that. It looks like he's used a column layout. Cool. So he's created rows for each position.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense now that I see it, because it is kind of a grid system, which you can mimic with just a few nested groups. But I mean, when I first saw that, it blew my mind. That's not something I'm used to seeing, especially because I'm looking at like even something as subtle as the difference between the CM position and the DM position, how they're just slightly askewed. But I'm sure that's probably like margins or a little bit of padding or something.
Yeah, exactly. You can see the little margin in there.
Or even just just aligning it differently. That's a really creative use of the responsive engine. I have not seen something like that before.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think like with Bubble, the way the whole I love the complexity level, because it's not too basic that you feel restricted, like you can't build features like this, which can happen if you try and oversimplify the development process and the tools you have available. But it's also not too complex that people with non-technical backgrounds can learn how to do this themselves. So it's to me, it's the perfect level in the middle where you get a full stack understanding of how to build tech. And you're not limited by over-controlling features basically from the products that you're building on. And you can build like something like this is definitely a challenge to build no matter where you're going to build it. And yeah, he's done really, really well. So full credit to him.
Are there any other features that we haven't talked about yet that you're proud of, that you want to show off? There's so many creative designs in this app. It's beautiful to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I love the homepage as well. It's very much got like a football feel to it, I think. The client's really happy with it as well. The branding, the colors, the feed, like what we've kind of managed to pack into this. I know some people would take a long time to get to where this is at now, and I still call this kind of early days. So,
kind of a broader question. What surprised you the most when building this app?
To be honest, like the speed in which we built it. I've known this client for a very long time. So, we used the combination of our two skills to build, I think, like a really powerful blueprint for building this, so that when we actually went to build it, I was just surprised in how quickly everything fell together because of how well each of us understood the other person's requirements. I mean, I think one of the main things that slows tech development down in general is communication, and being able to break down that communication barrier and let the free flow of ideas happen. The feedback's been really cool, especially from what we were able to build in 2 weeks. A lot of the clients came back and were like, wow, like the people that he gave it to were like, how the hell did you build this in 2 weeks? We built it really quickly, and so pain-free as well. Like there was very minimal stress involved in terms of getting things done, what can and can't be done. We just found a way.
How was the process to get it published in the App Store?
Relatively simple. I mean, Apple are pretty stringent with the way they test apps, so you do have to make sure that it's working properly, and also they'll push back, and there's a number of things they come back and just say these features need to be in there that aren't currently in there. Like you need to be able to delete your account, you need to be able to regulate community content, all that kind of stuff. So
Gotcha.
it's pretty easy. They're relatively clear in what's missing, if there is anything missing when you push it through there, but if you make those adjustments, it's pretty easy. Honestly, I think it was a great first experience with the mobile editor, and even I'm surprised with how much you guys fit into the beta, to be honest. I see a lot of potential with this, and I think a lot of other builders are going to really enjoy being able to build a web app and a mobile app all in the same spot. I mean, it's basically building your entire tech system in one location, which is such an underrated part of tech that honestly, I still think that there's way too few people that understand the benefits and the peace of mind that you get from having everything living in one place and not having to worry about duct taping all these different tools together to get something to work.
Well, I think that about does it for the time that we had scheduled for this. Adam, so great to talk to you. Really impressive app, and best of luck with what comes next for it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with and collaborating in the future, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take it easy.
To learn more about Football Edge, check out the links in the description. If you'd like to build your own apps in Bubble for iOS or Android, Native Mobile will be entering public beta on June 10th. We'll be hosting a launch webinar that day that you won't want to miss, so make sure to sign up for that event using the link in the description. Until then, thanks for watching.